Mehdi Hassan, the left-wing political commentator, is getting absolutely chewed out in his comments. If you guys who don't know who this is, he's a left-wing political commentator. He was previously in mainstream media before getting fired because of his speech and his talk on Gaza. So he went on social media, and he's been constantly doing this. It's very interesting. He's very much so what I would say is a mainstream Democrat, one of those mainstream talking heads that's still very binary. Everything is very left, everything is very right, which personally is why I've always not been the biggest fan of a lot of his takes. But anyways, he tweeted out to Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks, and Anna Kasparian commented as well. And he stated, "Dear Cenk and other fellow anti-war leftists, I get the desire to ally with anti-war rightists in this moment, but this is one of the many, many reasons I still have issues with Tucker. He lies so easily and casually, demonstrably. It's a trust issue with him." And he's quoting this video here in Tucker Carlson's recent New York Times interview. Let's just go ahead and take a listen to this video for the sake of it.
What I was saying, which is you cannot mock other people's gods and put yourself in their place, period. That is a deal killer for me. That's worse than the war with Iran, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I ask because, you've been talking on your show about whether Trump is the Antichrist.
I have not said that.
On your show, the day after Easter, you noted he did not put his hand on the Bible during his swearing-in ceremony as president. You said, and I'm quoting, maybe he didn't put his hand on the Bible because he affirmatively rejects what's inside that book. And then on a recent show, you went further saying, here's a leader who's mocking the gods of his ancestors, mocking the God of gods, and exalting himself above them. Could this be the Antichrist?
I actually did not say, could this be the Antichrist? Here's a leader who's mocking the gods of his ancestors, mocking the God of gods, and exalting himself above them. Could this be the Antichrist? Well, who knows? I don't know where that comes from, but I know that those words never left my lips because I'm not sure I fully understand what the Antichrist is. If there's just one, I actually tried to understand it. I may have said some are asking that. I'm not weighing in on that because I don't understand it. And just to be totally
in
clear.
Revelations, obviously,
So, I mean, it was dumb. It was just, it was just objectively dumb. There's a lot of leftist hypocrites as well. And maybe he just genuinely forgot. I think he just actually might have been forgetting and playing a little bit dumb too. It was stupid. It was very stupid. I would have just owned up to it. Regardless, though, it doesn't matter right now. It really doesn't matter if you're using this as a reason why you really just can't stand behind those who are simply against foreign wars. So anyways, Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian, I did respond to it as well, but I'm just going to go ahead and read what they stated. Mehdi, I genuinely don't understand why you think in this binary way that in order to be allies with someone on an issue, you have to vouch for that person in their entirety and every policy position they have. No, you just don't have to be an ally on that issue. Martin Luther King Jr. became allies with Lyndon Johnson. Absolutely insane to me. I hate Lyndon Johnson, who was often viciously racist behind the scenes and got countless people killed in Vietnam. I hated Lyndon Johnson just because of the whole JFK thing, unrelated to this. Should King have canceled Johnson instead of working with him to pass the Civil Rights Act? If your house is on fire and someone comes with a hose, you don't ask him about what his policy is on the carried interest loophole. You thank him for the help. If you hadn't noticed, Israel lit our house on fire. Anna Kasparian tweeted, Mehdi, can we please just put the partisan games away for 1 second and realize we need members on both sides to fight this fight? I'm genuinely asking politely and sincerely. He's constantly under fire for exposing the truth about our relationship with Israel, and you don't have to sleep with him. You don't have to love him or like him, but please don't join forces with Zionists to bury him on this issue. He's right on Israel. We should encourage that. Dan Balzerian, it's not a left versus right issue. We are clearly in a battle between good and evil. Wars are being fought and children are being murdered because Jewish supremacists want to steal their land, but you're too worried about offending your lefty fans to align with people on the right side. Somebody tweeted, I usually don't like showing my likes on when I make videos, but you are a divider and a subverter. You don't care about the truth or setting America free. You care about side ruling over the ashes of a once great country. You have woefully underestimated the American spirit, and you will be deaf when the time comes. Now, listen, I tweeted too, I'm not going to lie. I said, Mehdi, get your head out of your behind. This is a hostile Zionist U.S. takeover. You're still on this whole left versus right thing versus being politically correct. I can show you just as many leftists being hypocrites. So I'm really starting to get over this whole thing that Mehdi Hassan does. And for the record, I know some of Mehdi Hassan's staff. You know, I know some of his staff for Zateo. Really, really nice staff. Really, really nice staff. Okay, but he's so mainstream establishment that he simply can't get his head out of his ass when it comes to anything that, you know, when it comes to the understanding that there are some things that are just simply more pressing. There are some things that are simply more pressing. Let me give you an example. The right wing and the left wing person are both going to be broke after massive amount of foreign wars and increasing our national debt. If we lose the dollar as the reserve currency status, which is where we're headed, it seems like right now, it affects both the left and the right equally. It affects everybody equally. So why don't you stop worrying about these secondary issues? Because right now, the most pressing issue is that we have a hostile takeover of our government. And because you are so worried about this whole partisan thing, you're not recognizing that you are allowing the destruction of this country, because the most pressing issue you can't get behind and support, or just at least align with that person, while the whole house is getting burnt down because you're so upset with him being politically correct and you're so upset with everything else. This is not, you know, Israel-Palestine. It's not an Israel-Palestine issue. It's not even an Israel issue. It's literally the fact that our government is occupied. There can't be a more central issue than that. People always say, oh, you know, the Israel-Palestine thing, I don't understand it. You don't even need to worry about Palestine in this moment. I'm not even talking about Palestine. Put Palestine aside. Put Palestine aside for right now. I'm saying that as a Palestinian. I want to take it. I want to look at this from the lens of just America. There are people in America that are bought out and working on the interests of Israel. And even if Palestine was somehow out of the equation, even if that was the case, Israel is pushing us into war after war after war. That in of itself is a massive threat because it adds to our national debt. It diplomatically isolates us. It causes de-dollarization because all of these countries now want to shift away from the dollar faster. The more we start doing this sort of stuff, we come off volatile. The real biggest, not threat, but the real biggest concern for America right now should really be, you know, China should really be Thailand, or especially Thailand, but all of these things. But guess what? We started diverting our resources. I really shouldn't say the biggest issue right now. That actually isn't for America. There's a lot more pressing issues. But regardless, we are diverting our resources from different theaters of war by supporting Israel. That's the most pressing issue. It affects everything else. Everything else. And if you can't get behind that, or if you can't simply align and build a coalition on that one issue, then I just don't think you actually want the best for this country. You know, I have a friend, and he was listening to, he listens to this YouTube channel. I don't want to hate on any other YouTube channel, but they do this as well. And it's this YouTube channel, and they're also very leftist, and they have this sort of Mehdi Hassan vibe where they will trash anybody that doesn't align with their leftist policies, even if they're simply both on the right side when it comes to Israel. Like, for example, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. I really don't like a lot of their stances, but I also wouldn't say I'm a staunch leftist either. I think, but regardless, we have to recognize we're building a coalition. And it's a massive YouTube channel. I think it's called Majority Report. And they were doing the same thing. They were actually trashing Anna Kasparian. The Majority Report was, I don't remember how long ago. It doesn't seem like it was too long ago. And they were trashing Anna Kasparian because Anna Kasparian was on Tucker Carlson's show. So apparently that made Anna Kasparian, you know, a fake leftist. And it made Anna Kasparian, you know, just like not a trustworthy person. Same thing with the entire Young Turks. That's what they were saying. This is what I have to say. If you're so concerned about Anna Kasparian being on Tucker Carlson's show because it's going against your leftist moral views, I don't think you actually give a damn about wanting to fix the country. I don't. This is why. And you know what? And I know this might upset a lot of people. I'm not saying that, I'm not stating that you can dislike Tucker, you can dislike Marjorie Taylor Greene, you can dislike them all they want. All you want. But there is a takeover. It's a takeover. It's genuinely a takeover of our government. You think that we can do this by being picky and choosy with who we align with, or who we at least work together with to overthrow this? Just don't talk about them, if anything. Or just simply recognize that there's a takeover. There's a takeover. So if you want to keep trashing that side right now, well, go for it. But you're actually not really concerned. At the end of the day, we have to recognize that in order to stop this Israeli takeover, you think we can just keep making this a left versus right issue? You think if all the Democrats dropped Israel, that would all of a sudden be great, and yet still the entire the entire Republican side continues to support Israel. You think that's going to benefit everybody? No, it doesn't change anything. We have to make it bipartisan. We have to make it a collective on both sides. So no, I have a problem with it when somebody says, "Oh, you can't speak to this person, you can't speak to that person. You can't do this. You're too worried about being politically correct." Let me tell you something. The gay people in Gaza, the gay Palestinian men in Gaza and the occupied West Bank, for all of these leftists that are so concerned about being politically correct, they don't want to align with Tucker because of his stance on gay people. They don't want to align with Marjorie Taylor Greene or Candace because of their stance on gay people. Bombs are being dropped on gay Palestinians, both in Gaza and the occupied West Bank. And you know what's going to save them if you're so damn concerned with that? Stopping our unrelenting backing in Israel. You think a gay guy in Palestine really gives a damn about whether or not he gets to live in a country that really supports him being gay when he's watching a JDAM bomb from the United States government blow his leg off? You think he gives a damn about his sexuality at that point? But leftists, it's very, and you know what? I don't even want to just say the word leftist, because I know a lot of leftists that are actually willing to work on this whole, willing to work on both sides. But there are a lot of people that are still stuck in this binary, and they'll say, well, I still can't work with that person because they're being politically incorrect. They're just not being politically correct, and it makes me feel uncomfortable, and I have to go to my safe space. I can't handle it. I'm sorry. We can't. Somebody's life matters more than your feelings, and people are dying. And it's going to hurt America, and it's hurting America just as much, and people are dying in this country too for the same reasons. So that's my rant. I apologize. I mean, I don't apologize. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But this is ultimately what the truth is here. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you found this video interesting, I'd appreciate it if you just give this video a thumbs up and click the subscribe button as well. It helps me reach more people like you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care and have a great day. Bye, everybody.